Good afternoon and happy Saturday. At least it's the afternoon and Saturday where I'm at right now. Today we're going to spend some time talking about Axial's new product launch, the SCX30. It's a micro or even nano scale four-wheel drive crawler, which I've been having a ton of fun with since I got. So we're going to take a look at the rig itself and then dive into some tracks that I've made for it. Starting off, the SCX30 comes in both a Ford Bronco and a Jeep JL, so you can pick whichever body style you like. Both of them are hard bodies and look incredible. So you can see this beautiful hard body right here. You know what? No, this doesn't look quite right. This looks way too big. This has got to be the TRX 4M. Let's move this out of the way, and there it is. I mean, this thing is truly minuscule in the best way possible. I received mine and I was excited. I saw some videos, but until you get your hands on one of these things or see it in person, you really won't understand how small they truly are. And I mean that in the best way possible. If you're a micro crawler enthusiast, you're gonna have to add one of these to your garage. They fit comfortably on top of a TRX 4M or even an SCX24. They fit in the palm of your hand. It's just a super fun scale to explore for us micro crawler enthusiasts. I'm gonna start by calling out a few of my favorite features of this new rig. Aside from its scale, it's done incredibly well. As I've mentioned, stock hard bodies that look incredible. You have mirrors, you've got roof rack, tons of accessories, you've got functioning, beautiful headlight and taillight buckets. And for convenience, those headlights and taillights are actually mounted to the chassis. So you pull your body off, you don't have any wires to worry about. You can see the headlights and taillights mounted there. I love that. I love the scale realism of some functioning lights, and just the convenience factor is excellent. Another one of my favorite things on here is this SCX30 comes with a 030 sized motor. It's the same size as the stock SCX24 motor, and it really packs a punch in this much smaller form factor. So I think Axial did a great job with that stock motor in here. In addition to that, it is truly a ready to run with a 160 milliamp hour 2-cell LiPo that comes with it, as well as the charger you need to keep it moving, and the combination receiver and speed controller here on the right-hand side. Something else very cool that they did with this is they actually notched it out. You can see that curved edge, and I think what that's going to allow us to do is throw a longer CAN motor in here, like a 050 CAN motor with the factory setup. Just makes it nice and easy for you. You don't have to cut any tabs like you had to on the SCX30s. Taking a look at the underside of this rig, you can see it is solid axle front and rear with 4-link suspension. You have a central transmission that evenly distributes power through these drive shafts to your front and rear axles. These are worm gear axles, just like on your SCX24, if I've interpreted that correctly just by looking at the outer cases. In addition to that, the stock servo has plenty of power too. I was very happy with the performance of the stock servo. On the SCX24s, I always highly recommended upgrading that stock servo, but this one seems to hold its own very well. Taking a look at these shock mounting locations, Axial allowed us with 5 on the front and way more than that on the rear to configure your suspension settings. I've already moved mine a little bit to change up the geometry and just the travel for the tracks, but I'm really happy to see Axial launching these rigs with those mounting options. Normally we'd have to go with an aftermarket chassis, among other things, to change those shock mounting locations on our SCX24s. Enough about the chassis and the SCX30. I definitely recommend you get one if you're a micro crawler enthusiast. I've been having a ton of fun with mine, but let's talk about these tracks for a minute. So, as many of you know, if you've been following the channel for a couple of years, I am obsessed with tracks. I love tracks on these crawlers. Whatever scale, as low as the SCX30 now and as high as the 1/6 scale SCX6. I just think it's a ton of fun to throw tracks on these things and see how they handle in the snow, sand, and other soft environments. The difference with the SCX30 is I tried to run through some grass with my stock wheels and didn't make it very far, but with the tracks, you can actually run them over grass a little bit. It turns everything into fun terrain to navigate. So these tracks are just like my other offerings. It's a TPU printed track that floats around the chassis here. The drive wheel is supported by some bearings, as well as these runner wheels are also supported by bearings to reduce the friction as much as possible and just make the experience as fun as possible. Axial ships these with this beautiful little wheel nut tool, as well as a nice Allen key. It's really the tool you need to do any sort of work to your SCX30, and I'll show you how I install these tracks and how they work. So on the back side of that tool, there's a nice wheel nut tool which does work with the tracks. That's convenient. And then you can see these just pop it on and off just like a wheel would. Just like all my other tracks, the install is as simple as removing your stock wheel, taking the track, sliding it over that axle shaft, and then just giving it a little spin so it interfaces right before you reinstall your axle nut. So the installation process is super simple, and these will bolt onto any stock SCX30. You can also see that they do not rotate farther than this. If they did, they'd try to do laps around each other, and you don't want that. So they actually interface with both the front and rear axles to allow for articulation for the best performance, but won't roll over themselves, because if they roll over themselves, you're just not gonna have a good time. So these are for sale on my Etsy page. You can take a look at the link in the description and grab a set of your own if you'd like it for your SCX30. Otherwise, just get your hands on an SCX30 and enjoy a new scale of micro crawling. Thanks for checking out the SCX30 with me and checking out my tracks that I've made for it. Stick around for some running clips of this rig, and happy crawling.